You find the note on the kitchen counter at 6:47 in the morning, propped against the coffee maker like it's nothing more than a grocery list, and for 3 full seconds, you think it might actually be one. Then, you see, your name, not honey, not love, your name, in Holt's careful, slanted handwriting. The same handwriting that once signed a wedding certificate in this very city, 22 years ago. The note says he's found someone who makes him feel alive again. Someone named Delaney, someone better. You don't cry right away. That surprises you more than the note itself. You just stand there in your robe, holding a piece of paper that ends a marriage, and you notice the coffee maker is still gurgling, oblivious, filling the kitchen with the smell of a morning that was supposed to be ordinary. 22 years. You gave him 22 years. 3 miscarriages you never fully spoke about, a mother-in-law's funeral you planned because his grief left him unable to function, and every ounce of quiet, unglamorous loyalty a woman can give a man. And he leaves a note by the coffee maker. Here's what Holt doesn't know, what he has never known, what you buried so deep under thrift store cardigans and a 15-year-old Honda Accord that even his own mother went to her grave without suspecting it. Your maiden name was Ashworth, and Ashworth Holdings, the company that owns 4 office towers downtown, the marina redevelopment on the east side, the historic theater district, and roughly a third of the residential real estate in this city. That company belongs to you. Your family ought to trust you'll inherit someday. You, right now, signed, sealed, controlling shareholder, since your father died 11 years ago and left you everything, on one condition, written into the will, in his own trembling hand, that you keep it quiet, live simply, and really find out who loved you for you. You agreed because you thought it was a formality. You didn't expect it to become the loneliest secret of your life. So when Holt packs 2 suitcases and drives off in the Accord, the actual Accord, not even a car, befitting a man who thinks he's about to start a glamorous new chapter, you don't call a lawyer. You don't call your father's old business partner, Garrick Thorne, who still runs daily operations and still thinks you might one day want to actually show up to a board meeting. You just watch the note flutter slightly in the breeze from the window you forgot to close, and you think, let him go. Let him have his better woman. Let's see what better actually costs. Delaney Voss is 34. You know this because you looked her up within the hour, and you're not proud of how fast your fingers moved across the keyboard. She's beautiful in the calculated way that takes effort to look effortless. The kind of beauty that photographs like confidence, but up close reads like hunger. She works in brand consulting, which in this city usually means she attends a lot of parties and calls it networking. And she met Holt 4 months ago at a gallery opening he only attended because you were too tired from your father's foundation gala to go with him. You remember that night. You remember apologizing to him on the phone, exhausted, half asleep, telling him to go without you. You remember thinking, even then, in the fog of fatigue, that you were doing something small and forgivable. You had no idea you were handing your husband to another woman on a silver tray. Here's the part that will make your chest tighten, the part you don't find out until later, pieced together, slowly, painfully, like a puzzle assembled in the dark. Delaney didn't fall for Holt. She fell for what she assumed Holt was. Because Holt drove a company car, an Ashworth Holdings vehicle, part of his low-level facilities coordinator job. A job? You got him a favor for years ago through a friend, never telling him the company was yours, with a small gold emblem on the dash that Delaney recognized instantly. She'd done her homework on the city's money a long time before she ever laid eyes on your husband. She thought he was Ashworth family. She thought the modest house, the modest cars, the modest life you both lived was old money eccentricity, rich people who don't need to show it. She built an entire fantasy on a misunderstanding, and Holt, flattered for the first time in years by a woman who looked at him like he mattered, never corrected her. Maybe he didn't even fully understand what she believed. Maybe some small, wounded part of him wanted to be that man, just once, before he found out the truth. You find all of this out 3 weeks later, at your father's old country club, of all places, when Garrick Thorne corners you by the koi pond, looking like a man carrying dynamite in his coat pocket. "Marlowe," he says, and something about his voice makes your stomach drop before he even continues. "You need to see this." He shows you a text message, forwarded by mistake to an old company email account still tied to the facilities department. It's from Holt to Delaney, sent 2 days ago. It reads, "Baby, once the divorce settlement clears, we'll finally be able to move into something that matches who we really are." You read it twice, then a third time, because there's something underneath the words that feels less like love and more like a business plan. And you've spent 11 years learning to read business plans disguised as sentiment. You don't confront him, not yet. Instead, you do something you haven't done in 11 years. You go to the Ashworth Holdings building on Bay Street, take the private elevator to the top floor, and sit behind the desk that was once your father's. Garrick watches you with an expression somewhere between pride and worry. "You're going to want to know something," he says carefully. "Holt filed for divorce this morning. His lawyer is requesting spousal support, substantial spousal support, based on lifestyle assumptions." He pauses. "Marlowe, they think you're broke. They think the divorce settlement is coming from savings, maybe from selling the house. They have no idea what they're actually asking for." For the first time since the note on the counter, you feel something other than grief. You feel clarity. You could destroy him. You understand this with total, cold certainty. You could bury Holt and Delaney under legal fees in public embarrassment so completely that neither of them would recover. For a decade, you have the resources, you have the lawyers, you have, frankly, the motive. But you also remember something your father told you the week before he died. His voice, thin as paper. "Money reveals people, Marlowe. It doesn't need to punish them. It just needs to show them who they already were. So instead of destruction, you choose revelation. Slow, deliberate, surgical revelation." You instruct Garrick to let the divorce proceedings continue exactly as Holt expects: quiet, modest. A woman with nothing, fighting to keep her small house. You let Delaney believe, for a little while longer, that she's about to inherit a golden life through a man she thinks is heir to old money. You let Holt believe he's finally found happiness with a woman who admires him. You attend one final event before everything changes: the ribbon cutting for the marina redevelopment, a project you've quietly overseen for 3 years, a project the whole city has been talking about for months. As controlling shareholder, tradition dictates, the family name appears on the plaque. Ashworth, your name, your father's legacy. And as controlling shareholder, tradition also dictates you cut the ribbon yourself, in front of the mayor, in front of local news cameras, in front of half the city's wealthiest and most curious residents. You know Holt and Delaney will be there, not because you invited them, but because Delaney, in her endless pursuit of relevance, has been angling for an invitation every major event in the city for months, certain that her new relationship with old Ashworth money will finally open doors that have been closed to her for years. She got the invitation through a mutual acquaintance 3 days ago, and when you find out, you don't stop it. You let it happen. You wear navy blue that day, simple, elegant, nothing flashy, because you've never needed flash. You realize now, and maybe that's exactly the problem Holt never understood about you. You stand at the podium with the mayor to your left and Garrick to your right, and you scan the crowd once, only once, and there they are. Holt in a blazer that doesn't quite fit him right, looking uncomfortable in a way that used to make your heart ache with tenderness, and now just makes you feel tired. And beside him, Delaney, radiant, practically vibrating with anticipation, dressed like she's already rehearsed this moment in her head 100 times. The mayor introduces you. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the woman responsible for this remarkable project, and for so much of what makes this city thrive, Marlowe Ashworth." You watch Delaney's face change in real time. It happens in 3 stages, and you will remember all 3 stages for the rest of your life. First, confusion, her mouth parting slightly, trying to reconcile the name with a woman she's never met, has no reason to know. Second, recognition, her eyes flicking toward Holt, some slow dawning horror beginning to surface. Because Ashworth is not just a name, it's the name behind half the wealth in this city, and there is no version of this where Holt is somehow connected to it. That doesn't lead directly back to you. Third, devastation, pure, unfiltered, humiliating devastation, because in that moment, she understands with total clarity that she left nothing and gained nothing, that the man beside her was never the prize she thought he was, that she has been chasing a shadow cast by someone else's fortune. Holt doesn't move. He just stares at you like a man watching his own life rearrange itself in front of him without his permission. You don't smile. You don't gloat. You simply finish your remarks about community investment and civic responsibility, cut the ribbon with a pair of oversized ceremonial scissors, and step away from the podium as applause rises around you. Garrick leans in as you walk back toward the reception tent. You didn't even look at them again, he says, half impressed, half concerned. I didn't need to, you tell him. I already know what happens next. And you're right. Within 2 weeks, Delaney is gone, slowly, with any grace, but abruptly. The way people leave when the thing they wanted turns out to be an illusion. She stops returning Holt's calls. She's seen at a different gallery opening with a different man within the month. A man whose family actually owns a shipping company, something Delaney apparently verified this time. Before committing her affections, Holt calls you 11 times in 1 week. You don't answer any of them until the 12th, mostly out of a strange, aching curiosity to hear what he'll say. I didn't know, he says, voice cracking in a way that might be genuine, or might just be the sound a man makes when he realizes the life he threw away was better than the one he chased. Marlowe, I swear to God, I didn't know. I know you didn't know, you say quietly. That was never the problem, Holt. Then what was? You think about this for a long moment, staring out the window of your father's old office at the city, spread beneath you. Half of it technically yours. All of it. A place you built, a quiet, invisible life within for 11 years while your husband slept beside you every night without ever really seeing you. The problem, you finally say, is that you left because you thought you deserved better, not because you knew what you had. If I told you who I really was, would you have stayed? He doesn't answer, and his silence is the answer. That's what I needed to know, you say, and you mean it with the kind of sad, settled peace that surprises you. Take care of yourself, Holt. You don't hear from him again after that. 6 months later, you're sitting on the porch of the beach house your father left you, the one property you never sold, never rented, never told Holt about because some part of you always suspected you'd need somewhere private to rebuild a life if the day ever came. Garrick visits sometimes, mostly, to update you on the business, though lately, he brings less paperwork and more genuine conversation. And you've started to notice he lingers a little longer than necessary, laughs a little, easier than the old formal partnership required. You've started attending board meetings again, actually attending them, no longer hiding behind Garrick's proxy signatures. The employees at Ashworth Holdings have started to know your face, not just your name on the letterhead. You cut ribbons under your own identity now. You give interviews about the Marina project, about affordable housing initiatives you've quietly funded for years without ever attaching your name to them until now. The wealth was never the secret you were most afraid of losing. It was yourself. The version of you that existed before Holt, before the smallness of a marriage that asked you to shrink, before you learned to apologize for being tired instead of being celebrated for everything you carried. Your father's condition on the will makes sense to you now, in a way it never did before. He wasn't testing whether people would love you for your money. He was testing whether you would ever let yourself be fully seen. Wealth and weariness, and grief and strength, all together, without flinching, without hiding. without waiting for someone else's permission to take up space in your own life. You think about Holt sometimes, not with bitterness anymore, just with a strange, distant clarity. The way you might think about a house you used to live in that's since been renovated beyond recognition. He wanted better, he just never understood that better was already sitting across the breakfast table from him every single morning, pouring coffee, asking about his day, loving him quietly, in 100 small, invisible ways he never once thought to notice. The sun sets low over the water, and Garrick's car pulls into the driveway right on time, the way it has every Sunday for the past 2 months. You stand up from the porch swing, and for the first time in longer than you can remember, you feel something settle inside your chest that isn't grief, and isn't anger, and isn't even relief. It's simply peace, the kind that only comes when you finally stop being someone's secret and start being your own name again.
Stories like this remind us that real strength is often quiet. If you believe kindness and patience always find their way back to us, drop a comment and let me know. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story like this one. See you next time.